backwards in the camera. There we go. That's better.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms. And today we are sharing our updated enrollment guide for SAISD. And so to talk about all things SAISD Choice School enrollment related, we have the expert. We have Karen Galván, who's the special projects coordinator in the Office of Access and Enrollment Services, which is a mouthful. So we'll just call it the SAISD Enrollment Office.
Yes.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to answering questions and sharing about what we offer today.
Yeah. So okay, so this is my plug for my chance to plug that on the blog, sachartermoms.com. That's where we have the enrollment guide blog post about SAISD, and it's kind of a summary. But I encourage everybody like check out that blog post. Also click through because the SAISD Choice Schools website is great. So it's SAISDchoice.com, and that's like super up to date and really detailed. So I'm proud of what we've created because it adds a little interpretation on top of, but SAISD has done a great job of upgrading the websites and digital resources.
Thank you. Yes, that's a great place to go. You'll be able to see all of the choice offerings and upcoming information sessions and everything in English and Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, so I'm going to sort of ask kind of a big picture question, which is like, what are SAISD choice schools? Because I mean, the blog it's called San Antonio Charter Moms, but we cover a wide range of schools, and SAISD choice schools are a little different than some of the other types of charter schools that we cover. So, how would you describe like what are SAISD choice schools?
Well, in general, SAISD Choice Schools and programs are specialized academic offerings that are available to students all over Bexar County. So they are SAISD schools, they are public schools, they're all tuition free, they're all full day programs. What sets them apart is one that they would offer some specialized academic programming. So if your student has particular academic interests or already knows, maybe they're older, kind of where they're headed career wise, possibly, or what general field, we can get them started with curriculum programming and even partnerships within the community that lean towards that. So some of our choice schools and programs are also charter schools. So that's why they fall into this umbrella. But again, they're all in district SAISD schools.
Right. Okay. So I think that's the important thing is that right. So like SASD has a school board that oversees all of their neighborhood public schools and all of the choice schools. And it's taken me a while to get my head around this, but there's the in-district charter schools, and there's also programs like magnet programs that are like at like comprehensive high schools. So and it can be overwhelming, but because there's so many programs,
Yes.
right? Was it like over 40? Wait, how many is it now?
We are almost at 50 different programs, but I think we're right at about 43 different campuses. So some of the campuses have 2 or 3 different choice programs that they offer, but we are growing. And anything from dual language to preparing for a career to Montessori and so much more that I know we'll cover today. You've got options all the way from pre-K 3 through graduation. So yes, we cover a lot. And we're here to help parents kind of sift through everything because there are a lot of options and sometimes that's overwhelming. So what our office does in part is has those one-on-one conversations with families, whether that's virtually or over the phone or sometimes even in person at our events, to help them figure out, okay, what grades are your kiddos going into? Are you trying to stay in a certain area of town? Even though we do offer free transportation, is there a certain type of programming you're looking at? What about dual language? Would you like that as an option too? So we help families sift through all that and make great decisions. And at the end of the day, they can apply for up to 3 schools or programs per child. So you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Right. That's something I've observed over the past few years is the depth of the commitment to equity that SASD has. And that I know from what I do every day that this stuff is confusing. And I think back to how confused I was like 10 years ago when I was, for my own kids, like digging in, like what's up with charter schools in San Antonio. And it's complicated. And there's only even more options now. And that level of complexity can be a barrier, right? And there's language barriers that you mentioned, transportation, like there's there's families that move around frequently. There's all kinds of things that can make it harder to get a great education for your kids. And what the folks in your office do is bend over backwards to try to take away those barriers and make it as easy as possible for families to, like find out what these programs are, but also navigate just like, it's like if they don't have a computer, there's paper applications, right? If they don't want to do it in English, there's paperwork in Spanish. There's like the whole, let's see, well, I printed my copy, but right, the whole in the enrollment guide,
Yes.
right? Like
and they can always call us as well. We love having those personal conversations with families in English or Spanish because, as you mentioned, there are so many options I wish I had when I was in school, but we're like, here's your school, you go here, that's it. But to have so many options now, we know that it can possibly feel overwhelming, or just in times of COVID, you kind of get to a place of decision fatigue. You're like, just tell me what to do, point me in the right direction. So we try to take out a lot of that confusion for parents and walk you through. We really roll out the red carpet with our customer service when folks call or contact us.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, you've kind of hinted at this about like the range of programs, but, and there are so many, and, as we said, they're on the website, they're in the blog post, but can you like highlight some of the premier programs that you want people to know about?
Sure. And before I do that, I will mention that all of these schools, they're not tied to a particular address. So if you are moving around within Bexar County, you're not going to have to leave your school because you've moved. You can attend a school that's nowhere near where you live. So it's not tied to an address at all. It's not even tied to academic abilities. But some of the larger groups of programs that we offer, and I'll just kind of work my way up from like what's available for youngest kiddos all the way through high school. But we start off even in pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 with dual language pathways. Sometimes that's the main focus. Sometimes that's an option on top of another choice program that's going on at the campus. For example, Montessori. So we have 2 public Montessori schools in SAISD. One of them does also offer a dual language option, so you could get the best of that. And even at the pre-K level, as I mentioned, it's full day, it's no tuition, okay? So Montessori is a big one, dual language is a big one. IB, which is International Baccalaureate. I don't know if that's something a whole lot of people are familiar with, but it is an internationally recognized academic model. It encourages students to think about how they're learning, to become better learners and more aware of how the topics that they're studying in school are represented across the globe and how those things are being treated around the world. So those are some great programs, IB, that are available from pre-K 3 all the way through high school. As we get into the older grades, you're going to see programs like things focused on literacy, civic education, focus on fine arts especially. So as you get into 6th grade and up, you're going to have more options with extracurriculars and even sports. So being able to participate in those things as part of a public school system is definite bonus, right? That's just as much as part of the educational experience of the child as is, what they do in the classroom. So we will have programs, again, focusing on fine arts. We'll be able to offer those as extracurricular options as well. Media technology starting in the 6th grade level. As you get into high school, your options kind of explode, and that's where it might feel overwhelming right now if you're a parent of an 8th grader learning about all of these options. We have early college high schools and P-Tech programs. So early college high schools offer, of course, your high school diploma, but at the same time, you can be earning an associate degree up to 60 hours of cost-free college credit. And a P-Tech is simply that program, but with a pathway towards a technical career. So we have P-Techs if you're interested in everything from construction, engineering, business,
Nursing, right?
so many. Nursing, yes.
Security, yeah.
I have them all memorized up here somewhere. But then dual language is still offered all the way through your high school years. So again, you're seeing a continuum. We're really trying to offer that full experience that no matter what grade you're coming in at, you have the opportunity to be bilingual, like biliterate, have the experience in both cultures alongside your choice programming that's helping you focus towards a career. Or even like for some of our CAST schools, the focus is on their educational experience after high school. So preparing them for medical careers, legal careers, things that do need, additional degrees and certifications, but they're going to be able to get a head start on that in high school without any of the crazy costs associated with college. Because I don't know about you, we still have some college debt in my home and we are well past college age. So it's real. And that's something we want to save families and students from, if at all possible, by giving them this amazing opportunity with our choice schools.
Yeah. So actually, as I was prepping for this, I was checking with the moms and dads in the Charter Moms group. Oh, this is my cue to plug. So we have a big Facebook group. We're over 8,200 members, the San Antonio Charter Moms discussion group on Facebook. And we have a thread going talking about SAISD Choice Schools, because that's kind of the topic today. And actually, one of the moms was asking about so SAISD has very rich like sports and extracurriculars. So so for example, if a student is going to one of the magnet programs, like in the Fox Tech campus, like they can participate in sports and extracurriculars. Like there's mariachi and there's swimming and all kinds of stuff.
So many. Yeah.
So I was wondering if you could talk more about how that works. And then also but some programs, like some of the early college programs, aren't necessarily tied to a big campus. And so could a child travel to one of the campuses that does have more sports and extracurriculars?
Yeah, so that's actually a really popular question that we get. So most of the choice programs that we offer are based at our comprehensive high school campuses. So that means that whatever extracurricular activities or sports that are offered at that school, your child can participate in those programs if they attend that choice program. So that is essentially their home school at that point. If you're attending a campus that either doesn't have as rich of an offering, or there's maybe a sport that your child wants to participate in that's not offered at that campus, they can still participate in their zoned high school. For example, if they live in SAISD boundaries, they will have a high school that is zoned to them by their address. They would still be able to participate in that sport at that campus while doing their academics at the other school. So if you're living outside of the district, of course, that would be something you would need to work out with your district school. But anything that's offered at the choice school is available for your student to participate in.
Okay. That's amazing. I mean, I feel like SASD is really trying to make it parent friendly, family friendly, that, as far as transportation, among schools, or it's so if a family lives outside the district, as long as they get their kid in the vicinity, right, then they can catch, a bus to their specific campus, things like that. Because I know how complicated it can be, families that have kids at multiple different campuses, and they're just we can't clone ourselves, right?
There's only so many hours in a day to sit in a carpool line, that's for sure. So we use many of our schools as pickup and drop off locations for our bus routes. So we have specific bus routes just for these choice schools and programs. So again, it doesn't matter if you're coming from Bulverde, Castroville, wherever you're coming from. If you're attending a choice school, you show up at one of those stops and you know that you're going to the right school, you'll be able to go there and come back and be there in time for class and not have to worry about getting your child there. So you may have a stop that's closer to your home or even closer to your work. So maybe you do part of the journey in a car and then they hop on a bus and they're able to get to school on time. So that is another thing that we help families figure out, is what would be the stop that's closest to their work or their home, or what would be a halfway point, just depending on how far out you live. But yes, we always want to get that out there, that we do offer free transportation, because it still feels like a well-guarded secret, but it's no secret. And all of the routes, all of the schedules that we're using this current school year are up on our choice website under the resources tab. So you guys can see what that looks like for all of our choice schools.
Yeah. And that's also the kind of thing that folks can call and just ask. Actually, what I'm setting up my banner here. Is it 210-554-2660?
That's
is that the number?
That is the number. So that's the enrollment office number. I will give a little asterisk caveat to that right now. I was mentioning to Inga, you may see some boxes here behind us. We are actually in the process of moving office locations. So if you call us between now and the end of the day, Thursday, there may be a little wait time for us to call you back, but we definitely will. We're just moving into a different location, but email us, call us. We do our best to get to everybody in a really timely fashion.
Yeah. Well, that was a great overview about the different types of choice programs, and thank you for answering that parent's question about the sports and extracurriculars too, and we got to highlight transportation. So I get like another type of question that comes up in the group a lot is families will think, oh, but I live in Northeast or I live in Edgewood or where, like I don't live in SAISD, but they're still available, right?
Yes.
So if you could talk about like which, like, who is able to apply to the SAISD Choice Schools and programs?
Well, this feels like a little bit of a trick question. We're open for all school-age children. It doesn't matter where you live. We say Bexar County, but I mean, if you live just outside of Bexar County, that's fine. We're not cutting it off. We've had people apply who still live out of state, and they know that they will be moved here by the start of the school year or very soon after the start of the school year. So don't let that be a hindrance. We're a family of schools for all families. We're San Antonio School District. So whatever your attendance boundaries are, that's not a boundary. That's not a limit. And we want to make sure that you guys know that it's for you. And you're welcome to give us a call or check us out on the website to see what kind of options are available. So some of these options aren't available in other school districts or maybe in smaller areas where, you have one high school, one middle school, that sort of thing. So we just want to let families know that we're here for everyone. We're here to offer options for all of our youth as one big community citywide.
Mm-hmm. So I just put a comment up on screen. So Adenari is an SASD mom who happens to live in Bulverde. So that's an example of like they make it work.
Yes.
And it's because the programs are unique in SASD. So it's worth the drive.
Is definitely worth the drive. And I recognize this name. I know she's one of our Facebook followers, Ms. Galindo. Thank you. Also, you guys may see me in the SA Charter Moms chat from time to time. I'll poke my head in there and see if anyone has any questions. Maybe not so much in the next 48 hours as we're moving, but if y'all ever have questions in there, I will try to do my best to see them. There's some other folk from our office as well who are on there and can answer questions as well. But you guys can reach out to us even through direct message through our Facebook page, SAISD Choice Schools and Programs. You can always reach out to us there. I even want to do a plug for an event that we're having this evening at 5 p.m. If any of your listeners have an 8th grader or even an almost 8th grader and you just want to be ahead of the game, I will invite y'all to connect with us on our Facebook page tonight at 5 to 6. We're actually going to be talking about all of the 9th grade options that are available for next school year. And we're even going to have some of the high school staff members there to talk about their schools and do a Q&A. So it's interactive. There's even a Zoom link if you want to join on Zoom. We'll have some Spanish interpretation going there. But we are inviting anyone and everyone who has an interest in 9th grade programs to check us out today at 5.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's a really big decision point, And so I guess I have a 9th grader this year, and I know that for our family, it was really important to have my son be involved in the process. So like we visited different schools, we Zoomed with people because it was during COVID that we were researching, but he made the decision based on like the interactions he had with teachers at the schools that he was applying to. And and then now that he's settled, like he's really bought in to where he's at. So I think I would encourage families to definitely tune in at 5 p.m. to the live stream, and so they can learn about the 9th grade programs, and if possible, like get your student to participate in those as well, because they're going to have a say in it. One thing I've heard from talking to other schools, like sometimes the actual decision making happens a little later for like middle school, high school, because the students themselves are more involved, and it takes a little longer to get them
There's
engaged.
A lot of options. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You have more options at that age group, but you also then have to decide. So we're here to make that decision process a little easier, and we're really trying to make sure that parents also know what the options are. 8th graders typically are at a level where they know what they want, or they know kind of what they want at least. And sometimes the parents are unaware that, things are being applied to and getting offers and that sort of thing. So we're here to make sure that the parents are right there alongside the student as they're making the decision, so that there's no confusion and everybody's on the same page with everything.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I know you've. I want to reinforce this, that the enrollment office is accessible in lots of different ways and multiple languages to
Yes.
demystify this for families. But I wonder if we can kind of give an overview, or just some just steps that families should know, like things like important dates, or like how the process should work.
Absolutely. Well, the most important date is today. Today, you can go ahead and apply for up to 3 choice schools or programs with SAISD. We are doing our lotteries in late January, so you'll want to make sure to apply by January 14th of 2022. Can't believe it's already going to be 2022. So you still have almost 2 months to do this, but we are just encouraging you to start the process now because, like we said, there's so many options, and you may want to tour a school, reach out to a school, attend a school's information session. They're doing them in person, they're doing them virtually, and you want to not feel rushed when you do this process. But when you are ready to apply, you can do that online. Go to SAISDchoice.com and click that yellow apply button, and you'll have some options there. And you can always call us. That's probably the easiest way, especially if technology isn't always your favorite thing. We can apply for you right over the phone for up to 3 schools or programs with 1 application. So January 14th is the big date, and we'll start offering those seats especially for those lottery grades, like your entry level grades, your pre-K kinder, your 6th grade, your 9th grade, where there's like a natural transition from school to school. Those offers will start going out January 24th. If you get an offer at that time, you'll have about 2 weeks to decide which offer to accept if you've got multiple ones. And then we'll start making offers from our wait lists on February 14th, all the way through the spring, summer, and into the new school year. As long as there's seats available, we'll be offering them. So the only other date that you would need to be concerned about is if you have an incoming 9th grader who wants to do varsity sports or activities at their choice school, they would need to accept the offer by the last day of our school year, which is June 2nd. But for everyone else, January 14th, January 14th, January 14th. But today is the day. You can go ahead and apply today.
Yeah. Well, that's a good message. I want to reinforce that, like, the holidays are coming and it's going to get really busy. Mm-hmm. But the time between New Year's and January 14th is so short. Like it's going to go by. So really, like, this is the best time to do it. Just get it in. And then I guess it's like, whether, like, don't worry that you didn't do it in October, because whether it's October, November, December, January, as long as it's within open enrollment, they all get treated the same, right?
Yes. So usually pre-K, kinder, 6th grade, and 9th grade is where we hold our lotteries. So if you're applying for one of those grades, chances are you're going into a lottery, so it doesn't matter when you apply. For all of the other grades, when you apply, you are being added to a wait list. And so it will matter how soon you apply, because the sooner you apply, the better spot you've got on that wait list. So keep that in mind. If you don't know if it's a wait list or lottery grade, you can find that on SAISDchoice.com when you check out each of the schools, or you can just give us a call and we can show you. As for 9th grade, I believe it's a lottery grade at all of the schools, so that's kind of a given. But yeah, we want to encourage you to do that. And again, si necesitan español, pueden llamarnos, pueden darnos sus preguntas y podemos ayudarles también en español.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. So I apologize for the mistake I forgot about, like, I guess I'm more used to the open enrollment charter schools where every grade is a lottery grade. And so then it's a little different for the SAISD Choice Schools, and that not every grade is a lottery grade. But and like let's see, I'll put that up on the screen again. Like, when I was trying to understand this for myself, like, what I found, I think the best way that I could understand it was that, like, there's, like, so on the SAISD Choice site, it explains, like, or there's a description of like all the different choice programs, and under that it lists, like, which are the lottery grades. I think that's my...
Yes. So if they're on the website and they go to the schools tab, they will see all of our schools. And at the top, there'll be a bunch of tags or filters that talk about like the different grade level or the different programs. If they click on one of those, it will show them just the schools that offer that type of programming or for that grade level. But anytime they want to click on one of those school tiles, it will open up a profile page for that program, and they'll be able to see what grades does it serve, which grade's a lottery grade, tell me a little bit about the school, when are their info sessions, what kind of extracurriculars do they have. You can link right out to the school website. So that's the best place to figure out what's going on at each school, because everyone's got their own little profile.
Yes. And yeah, calling the enrollment office is great. I also I welcome families can ask in the discussion group. They can say, okay, I'm looking at SAISD Choice Schools. I'm overwhelmed. What's a school that's good for this? And then to the members of the group, we have a lot of SAISD families in the group, and they can comment about like, oh, I love my school because of this. And there's a lot of advocates people who love their school and want to speak up for it. So I'm grateful to them.
And I'll also say this too. I know that some of the schools you may have heard of more. Many of our neighborhood schools do also participate in choice and offer things like dual language and international baccalaureate. So again, from pre-K 3 all the way through 5th grade, some of them are academies and they go through 8th grade. Keep in mind, just because you maybe haven't heard of a school does not mean that it doesn't offer a great dual language program. It might be something that's really close to where you live and you were unaware. But that's where we like to connect the families with those options. So Woodlawn Hills Elementary School, Woodlawn Academy, Fenwick Academy, Huppert's Elementary. These are some of our IB schools that might be in your own backyard. So please keep an open mind as you're looking at the schools. That just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it isn't awesome. So
yeah, there's been a lot of change in the facilities at SAISD because they've passed like huge bond resources, and that those resources, it's been a few years now, so the changes are actually materializing on campus. So there are campuses that maybe didn't seem up to date a few years ago, and then now we visited Irving recently, and right, so I mean Twain is probably better known as a wall-to-wall dual language campus, but Irving has a similar like everyone on campus participating dual language. It's just the school's just not as well known, right? It's like maybe it's lots of people drive up and down San Pedro. Maybe families aren't in the neighborhood with where Irving is. But there's been lots of improvements to the campus, through the bond work, and there's great stuff happening on campus. So if families, they shouldn't get discouraged, that maybe the school that they've heard of is full, because the programs are available at multiple campuses. They may not, and it's frustrating too. I mean, there are many things to be frustrated about the pandemic, but like the fact that STAR, STAR has its limitations as a measure, but I mean that's how that's how the schools are assigned letter grade ratings. But there's been no ratings for the last 2 years, so I'm sure there's been growth happening, but the only data that we can report is the 2019 data. So
yes, that is kind of a downside, but at the same time, STAR doesn't take into account school culture and the experience that the child has. As I mentioned, the extracurricular activities and clubs and sports that aren't available necessarily at all of the open enrollment schools. So yes, a lot of the renovations and things that have been happening, we're at some eventually going to touch all of our 90 plus schools. Most of the high schools have been, if not completely redone, then sections of them redone, things built out, classrooms upgraded, technology becoming greener, even some more like STEM focused classrooms and tech focused classrooms. So we're bringing it into the 21st century. But yes, definitely a plug for any school in SAISD because they're all undergoing improvements.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to let's see. I guess I want to make sure that we give people like I know you have to get ready for the next event, so I want to make sure people know like what to do next, what next steps they should take. So I guess I can put the website back on the screen, right?
There it is.
Okay. So what sort of like what's the call to action? Like what should families do if they're excited about SAISD?
Yeah. The call to action would be to check out the school offerings to see what is an interest for your child? Or what kind of, for example, dual language campuses would you be interested? What kind of career focused or high school magnet programs would you be interested in? So you can already start looking at those and narrowing them down. And then the call to action then would be to apply. You can do that by phone, online, on paper. We make it super easy. We're even working on a Google form application right now that's under works. But yes, call us. You can ask us questions. We can help you whittle down your options and apply over the phone. But that's the main call to action right now is one, get some options about what you're interested in for each child, and then two, give us a call or go online to actually apply. So you can do that for up to 3 schools, and January 14th is the big day.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, it's really exciting. I love hearing about what's happening at SAISD, and it has such a big impact on the city. The SAISD is really a leader in innovation and like offering special programs, and it's really a focus on serving families and and serving students with what's going to fit their special interests. So I'm really happy about what's happening at SAISD, and thank you for joining me, and good luck with your session tonight to talk to the 8th graders about their high school options.
Yes, we look forward to seeing any parents of 8th graders tonight at 5 on our Facebook page, SAISD Choice. Thank you guys so much for letting me speak today. And the next time you see me, I will be from a different office, but we'll all be available to help. Thank you guys so much. And we look forward to having conversations with you.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, good luck with your move.
Thank you.